Howdy, howdy. My name's Charles Richard. I had the absolute pleasure of going to Taiwan this summer. As you can see by my hat, I'm basically official. I'm pretty much Buddhist after our trip anyway. But I had the absolute pleasure of going to Taiwan, and we have to make this video presentation about our experience. And I know a lot of people are just doing a slideshow or kind of just letting the pictures tell the story. And I honestly just didn't feel like doing a slideshow really did the trip justice. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime trip for me, and I know it's pretty funny, right, with the hat and everything, but it was an amazing trip. I was nervous, to start. I mean, my whole experience, I was extremely nervous to start. I really didn't get nervous until we were driving down to Houston, but just the fact we were going, 15-hour plane ride away across the world with people that I had never even met. I had met maybe half the class in the meeting, but of course we didn't really talk. That was months ago. So it was a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I was scared, and it's just funny because I normally don't get nervous for those type of things. I'm pretty open. I'm pretty open-minded, but I got nervous. And just from the moment we got there, though, from meeting everybody in the airport, which was very easy to find everyone, which made it a whole lot easier. But from the minute we got there, you could tell everybody was excited. So that totally took all the nerves away from me, and I was ready to go. It's so funny that when your first experience of Taiwan is Hello Kitty galore. I mean, just Hello Kitty towels. Our tickets were Hello Kitty, and so I'm just sitting there thinking, like, oh my, what am I getting myself into? But it couldn't have gone any better. For me, I think how the whole trip was organized, how we immediately met our, representatives from Asia University, that was amazing because we had Xavier, and I couldn't ask for a better escort. I mean, he was the nicest guy. And from meeting them from day one and how comfortable they made us feel from the get-go, I mean, just really set the tone for the whole trip. And Xavier was amazing. I mean, from the get-go, we were already being stereotypical Americans, where we were being pretty picky on food. And the amount of times that dude ate fried rice is it's too much. It's too much. He was amazing. But from the first time we met him, he just had this comfort level to him that was very open, and it was great. We had our terrible first impression when his favorite food was stinky tofu. And oh my God, I don't know who thought of stinky tofu, but that's just, oh my God. That's not edible. I mean, it's not edible at all. And that was like his favorite food, right? So our first impression of this guy is that's his favorite food. And I'm trying not to offend him when I'm basically gagging on this stinky tofu. But he even took that, like he didn't even get offended, and I would be absolutely offended if my favorite food makes you want to vomit. I would be offended, and he didn't even get offended at that. And I mean, that just set the tone for the whole trip. I mean, the culture there was amazing. I mean, everybody was so friendly. The second day, we're in this probably one of the sketchiest theme parks I've ever been to. I mean, those rides were probably not legal in the United States, but hey, when in Taiwan, right, you got to do it. But we're there, and we kept running in. I'm just going to tell a story about, just an example. We kept seeing the same family, okay, the same family, and we'd wave at them, everything, and the only thing I knew how to say in Mandarin was ni hao, and so I would just ni hao, and wave, and they would get genuinely, like, heartwarmingly excited that we were talking to them. And so they would start waving back, and we saw them multiple times throughout the day. And at one point we were walking at each other. We're face to face. We had just eaten, we were leaving the restaurant, and we're walking at this family. And so I started waving, and they got so excited. It made me so happy. I literally, like, the grandfather of the group sticks his hand out and shakes my hand, and then gives me like this biggest hug, like he was my grandfather. Just gives me this hug. The woman that was his wife, we go give her a hug. She hands me her fruit. She was eating a grapefruit, and she handed me her half-eaten grapefruit because she wanted me to have it. And that is just mind-blowing. That is absolutely mind-blowing to me. When would that ever happen in the United States? You know, never. But this woman, who I had never spoken 2 words to besides ni hao, was so happy to see us and just happy to interact with us. She gave me her fruit. Not very good fruit. I'll admit. It was not very good. I don't know what it was. But it's just the gesture. Like, that would never happen. That would never happen in the United States. And even 2 days later, we're at the school. We're at Asia University again. And I guess they were having, like a freshman orientation, where they had all the younger students in big groups, and they were doing this dance, and it seemed like a traditional dance. And me being me, I just jumped in with them, and our whole group had walked by, and I was way behind. But I had to take the opportunity, right? I mean, these people are dancing, they're all waving at us, so why not dance with them? So I started doing this like Taiwanese dance, and I feel like Americans, if it was flip-flopped, if some foreigner hopped in one of our dances, we would look at them as if they were strange. We would look at them as kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you here? And they love me. Oh my God. I mean, they started freaking out. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt that popular. And they were just screaming and clapping and going crazy. And for the whole rest of the day, anytime we walked by them, I had to shake their hand. Like, they would come run up to me like, oh. And I mean, I even tried talking to them, but I obviously can't speak Mandarin. But they're like, the legitimate joy that they feel from things like that, from talking to foreigners, things that we take for granted, like the getting to know people experience. I feel like Americans take that for granted, and these people just embraced it, loved it. And oh my, like, I'll never be able to explain like the culture shock, the difference of opinion. It's really unexplainable. The fact that these people would get genuinely that excited to be in that kind of situation where I can't even communicate with them. I barely know how to say ni hao. The only thing I know how to say is, hello, my name is Charles. I love beer. And that's, thanks to the ghost village, which isn't even a ghost village, just for money. That was kind of made me mad. But thanks to the ghost village, that's the only thing I know how to say in Mandarin. So I can't even talk to these people, and they still want to take time out of every time I'd walk by to run over to me and shake my hand and give me a hug, and just so friendly. It was amazing to me. And like, no matter where we went, even at the little sketchy tofu stands I never want to even smell again in my life, the people were so nice to us, letting us try whatever we wanted because they could tell we were foreigners, tell that, we hadn't seen that before, and they were so open. If it was going back to if it was flip-flopped and we were in the United States and we have a foreigner at our dinner table, we're a hostess, I feel like a lot of people get frustrated. I work in the hospital, and we have somebody that we're trying to take care of. They don't speak English. I get frustrated. It's we almost get annoyed. And in Taiwan, it was the exact opposite. They would laugh with us. They would just think it was funny, start laughing, and we would figure it out together. I mean, they would take their time to figure out what we were trying to say. And just the amount of compassion over there. The fact that their insurance system is exactly like Obamacare, basically. And look at the opposition Obamacare is getting here compared to theirs there. Just shows you the culture difference. I mean, it shows you the culture change. I don't think Obamacare will ever happen here. And it's, accepted by used by 96% of the citizens in Taiwan. I mean, they're obviously not doing something wrong. And we still have that big of an opposition here. I mean, are we too greedy to help pay for the poor? It's just a different culture. And it was beautiful to me to see that kind of culture change and see that there are people in the world that, still have a sense of humility, and I feel like is something lost, something lost in Western medicine and Western society in general. And it was amazing. It was uplifting to see that for me. And I think it couldn't have happened at a better time in my life. You know, trying to graduate. Don't know what I want to do with my life, and it's just like, it's okay. You know, it'll be fine. And I get that mentality a lot because of this trip. These people were so humble and so modest, and just, you know, they're willing to serve. It was amazing to me. And I know that I'm going to stay in touch with Xavier for as long as possible. I mean, we're trying to get him to come to the States already, and he doesn't have to worry about staying somewhere. He's going to stay with me or anyone else in our group. I mean, he was that good to us. It's not a question. He would be taken care of because he took care of us. And that's something I can never repay. I can never repay anyone that organized the trip, anyone that was on the trip. It was amazing. And I cannot show enough appreciation to those people, Dr. Chin, Dr. Wong, everyone involved. I mean, it was honestly amazing, and I am absolutely grateful that I had the experience that I did, and I'll never be the same. And like I said, I cannot show enough appreciation. I hope I get a good grade in this class, but I really don't care. It was all about the experience. Fail me. Don't fail me, but I don't care.